Welcome back to Marvelous DC Girl, your one-stop destination for deep dives into fantasy, superheroes, and all things pop culture. I've got a confession to make. I didn't watch Squid Game Season 1 until late December 2024. Shocking, right? But once I started, I couldn't stop. From the very first episode, I was completely hooked. Today, we're diving into Squid Game Seasons 1 and 2, why the first season became a global phenomenon, and how, even though Season 2 wasn't perfect, it still had some amazing redeeming qualities. Let's break it all down. Season 1 of Squid Game became an instant classic for so many reasons, but let's start with the concept. The show takes innocent, nostalgic childhood games and twists them into something horrifying and deadly. It's such a genius idea because it's universally relatable. No matter where you're from, you probably played games like Red Light, Green Light, or Tug of War as a kid. By turning those games into deadly contests, the show forces us to think about trust, teamwork, and the darker side of competition. And speaking of competition, Squid Game excels in how it explores human nature. The show isn't just about survival, it's about the choices people make when faced with impossible situations. Do you work together or do you turn on others to get ahead? Each player's decisions are influenced by their personal struggles, making every moment feel deeply impactful. Then there are the characters, who are honestly the heart and soul of the show. Gi-hun, our protagonist, is so relatable. He's flawed, he gambles, he struggles to provide for his daughter, but at his core, he's a good person trying to do the right thing. And then there's Sang-woo, who's the perfect foil to Gi-hun. Watching him spiral into more corruption is heartbreaking because you can understand his choices, even if you don't agree with them. And Se-byuk, she's a fan favorite for a reason. Her quiet strength and tragic backstory adds so much depth. Finally, let's talk about the visuals. The contrast between the playful pastel-colored sets and the violence of the games is striking. It's jarring in the best way possible, making every scene unforgettable. The giant doll in Red Light, Green Light, the glass bridge, these moments are burned into pop culture history. And the music? It's eerie, childlike, and unsettling all at once. The whole aesthetic of Season 1 was crafted to perfection. Now moving on to Season 2, I'll be honest, after the massive success of Season 1, the bar was set impossibly high, and while Season 2 didn't quite reach those heights, there's still a lot to appreciate. First, let's talk about what worked. Season 2 expands the world of Squid Game in really interesting ways. We get to see more of Frontman's backstory. His journey from a former player to the man running the show adds so much complexity to his character. It also raises some fascinating questions. How much power can corrupt someone, and at what point do they stop being a victim and become part of the system? This season also does a great job of showing just how massive and interconnected the games are. We get more insight into the international VIPs, and it's clear that the games aren't just a local phenomenon. They're part of a global machine fueled by people's love of spectacle and their willingness to ignore the cost. The new games in Season 2 were creative and just as tense as Season 1's. Without spoiling too much, one of my favorites involved a psychological twist that had me on the edge of my seat. However, I will say that the emotional stakes didn't always hit as hard. In Season 1, every game felt deeply personal because of how much we cared about the characters. Season 2 had so much going on that it didn't always give the characters enough time to breathe. And that brings me to where Season 2 struggled. Pacing. The show tried to balance so many plot lines. Gi-hun's quest for revenge, new players in the games, the frontman's story, and more. While I appreciated the ambition, it sometimes felt a little scattered. But even with these flaws, the core of the show, the exploration of human nature, remained strong. There were still moments of betrayal, sacrifice, and unexpected alliances that kept me emotionally invested. So why did Squid Game work so well, even after 2 seasons? I think it's because it's about so much more than the games themselves. At its core, the show is about the choices people make when their backs are against the wall. It's about trust, betrayal, and how far someone is willing to go to survive. The characters are what make it truly special. Even in Season 2, where some storylines felt rushed, the show never lost sight of the human element. Gi-hun's transformation from a desperate man to someone determined to take down the system is one of the most compelling arcs I've seen in a long time. His journey is far from over, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. And let's not forget how the show uses the games to challenge us as viewers. It forces us to question how we act in those situations. Would we make the same sacrifices as Gi-hun? Would we justify the same choices as Sang-woo? That's what makes Squid Game so fascinating. It's not just a show, it's a mirror. Even though Season 2 wasn't perfect, it laid the groundwork for what could be an even bigger and more explosive 3rd season. The show has proven that it's not afraid to take risks, and I, for one, am here for it. Alright, that's my review of Squid Game Seasons 1 and 2. What did you think? Were you as hooked as I was, or did Season 2 leave you feeling a little underwhelmed? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into the worlds of fantasy, superheroes, and beyond. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.